When your cat suddenly changes their behavior, do you actually know what that means? Yes, it can seem random, maybe even a little dramatic. But behind that change there is something deeper that most people miss. It is one of the most emotionally loaded signals your cat can give. And if you ignore it or respond the wrong way, which most owners do, you might slowly damage the trust your cat has in you. Let's start with what these everyday mistakes really mean. Have you ever ignored your cat when they approach you or pushed them away because you were busy? Most people think it is harmless, they will come back later. Here is what is actually happening. When your cat approaches you, they are initiating connection. Cats do not seek attention randomly. They do it intentionally when they feel safe enough to reach out. So when that moment is repeatedly ignored, your cat does not just wait. They adjust. Think about that for a second. They stop trying. And by the way, if your cat ever becomes distant or suddenly stops coming to you, do not brush it off. We will get to what that really means later, and it is something most owners wish they understood sooner. Because this is where most owners get it wrong. They think connection is always available. But for cats it is built moment by moment. Have you ever raised your voice or punished your cat for scratching or jumping somewhere they should not? Most people think the cat will learn what not to do. Here is what is actually happening. A 2021 study from the University of Lincoln found that cats do not associate punishment with past actions the way humans expect. Instead, they associate it with you. Animal behavior research shows that negative responses increase stress rather than teaching behavior. That means your cat is not learning a rule. They are learning uncertainty. Think about that for a second. Your presence shifts from safe to unpredictable. And here is where it gets even more powerful. Cats learn through safety and repetition, not fear. So when they feel unsafe, they do not improve. They withdraw. What makes this even more meaningful is that your cat is constantly evaluating whether you are a safe place or not. Have you ever ignored when your cat rubs against you or walks across your things? Most people think it is just attention-seeking or annoying behavior. Here is what is actually happening. Cats have scent glands in their cheeks, paws, and forehead. When they rub against you, they release pheromones. Researchers who study feline behavior call this social bonding through scent marking. So every time your cat does this, they are reinforcing a shared identity. Think about that for a second. You are not just part of their life. You are part of their territory. And when that interaction is interrupted or dismissed, the bond weakens over time. What makes this even more meaningful is that this scent connection creates emotional stability. And without it, your cat feels less secure in their environment. And hey, if this makes sense to you, hit like and subscribe. It helps us reach more cat lovers who actually want to understand what their cat is really saying. Have you ever wondered why your cat scratches furniture, climbs high places, or hides in small spaces? Most people think it is bad behavior. Here is what is actually happening. Behavioral scientists have observed that these actions come from survival instincts. Scratching maintains claws and marks territory. Climbing provides safety and visibility. Hiding creates a sense of protection. In the wild, these behaviors are not optional. They are necessary. Think about that for a second. Your home replaces the wild. But the instincts remain. And here is where it gets even more powerful. When those instincts are blocked, your cat does not become calm. They become stressed. What this reveals is that your cat is not trying to misbehave. They are trying to feel safe in a world that limits their natural behaviors. Have you ever noticed your cat prefers certain people or avoids others completely? Most people think cats are just moody or unpredictable. Here is what is actually happening. Studies on domestic cats reveal they form selective bonds based on trust, consistency, and emotional safety. They do not connect equally with everyone. They choose. Think about that for a second. Your cat choosing you is not random. It is a result of repeated safe interactions. And here is where most owners get it wrong. They assume that bond is permanent. But it is maintained through consistency. What makes this even more meaningful is that your cat is constantly deciding who their safe space is. And your actions either reinforce that or slowly weaken it. Have you ever disrupted your cat while they were resting or sleeping peacefully? Most people think it is fine, they are just waking them up. Here is what is actually happening. When a cat rests deeply, their body lowers its guard. Their breathing slows. Their awareness fades. That is something cats only do when they feel completely safe. Animal cognition research shows that rest in a secure environment is directly tied to emotional trust. Think about that for a second. Your cat is placing their vulnerability in your presence. This is what most owners never realize. When you interrupt that moment repeatedly, you are not just waking them up. You are disrupting a state of trust. Remember earlier when I said if your cat becomes distant or stops coming to you? This is what I was talking about. Because when safety feels inconsistent, trust slowly fades. And here is where it becomes powerful. Every time you allow your cat to rest peacefully near you, you reinforce safety without saying a word. Have you ever noticed your cat suddenly changes their habit, stops approaching you or avoids sleeping near you? Most people assume they just want space. Here is what is actually happening. Studies on domestic cats reveal that withdrawal from bonding behaviors can indicate stress, discomfort, or emotional distance. Cats do not express distress loudly. They adapt quietly. Think about that for a second. Silence is not always peace. Sometimes it is distance. This is where most owners get it wrong. They wait for obvious signs. But with cats, the absence of behavior is the signal. Do not ignore it. Because rebuilding trust is always harder than maintaining it. So when your cat changes their behavior, do you actually know what that means? It might feel small. It might look like nothing. But behind those moments there is something deeper. It is trust. It is safety. It is your cat constantly deciding whether you are their secure place. That is not just behavior. That is connection. And those small moments you might overlook. They were never small to them. And they should not be small to you either.